Welcome along to episode 8 of Midweek F1. So this is everything that you need to keep across the ever more intriguing world of Formula 1 2025. It's been a wild season so far. So this is the last look at the Grand Prix just gone and the first look at the one coming up. I'm Nicola Hume, and as always, I am joined by the oracle of the sport, the main man himself. It's Formula 1 commentator, Ben Edwards.
Thanks, Nicola. What a great Imola race weekend it was. Thoroughly
so
enjoyed it. It really was entertaining. And with the top three in the championship finishing in reverse order, it's made the battle up front even closer. So we've got lots to talk about from the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix.
Give me the full title.
Oh, the full title. Full title is the AWS Gran Premio Made in Italy del Emilia-Romagna 2025.
And how many times did you say that this weekend while
Not
commentating?
often, I have to say.
Did you avoid it completely?
It takes so long.
I would have gone, just get it out once and then you've done it. And then Imola for the rest of the weekend. Fine. Yeah, it's been an unbelievable weekend. But on this episode, we're going to be joined by this week's special guest, which is actually our first returnee. Is that a word?
It is.
We're
absolutely.
making it well. Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
It's one of our favourite guests. Going to be joining us again today.
Indeed. That's right. And she'll be reviewing in school report style exactly how the teams are doing, what's going right, what's going wrong, all that sort of thing. We're over a quarter of the way through the 2025 season now.
Yeah. And then, of course, we've got our very own Midweek F1 Championship of the World. Who did well with their predictions after the Imola Grand Prix, the one with the really long name that I'm not going to say?
Certainly better than me. We'll then dive straight into what's happening next, which is, of course, one of the most famous F1 races of all, the Monaco Grand Prix, and especially as they've got some new regulations involved in it this year as well. So we'll have a chat about that.
Yeah, but first we need to look back at Imola, and we need to get very excited about the fact that Max absolutely smashed it. This is not me saying this because I work with Red Bull, but this is me saying this because it was a cracking weekend. And now, here we are. We thought it was going to be Oscar Piastri smooth sailing, but no.
Absolutely.
Now that top three, there's like 22 points between them. It's now anyone's game. And the whole weekend was bonkers. I mean, there was crashes. There was obviously some really cool overtakes. There was a random virtual safety car, an actual safety car. Ferrari were just a bit all over the place, and it was carnage.
It was carnage, but it was brilliant by Max. That move he made into the first corner was outstanding. It was clean. Oscar Piastri couldn't quite beat him off. And after that, Max not only got in front, but they had great pace. And that was impressive for me from Red Bull, because on the Friday, they weren't looking that particularly quick. But the race pace actually was extremely strong. And Oscar Piastri worked his tyres too hard. Yeah. That's hurt him because he then went for an early pit stop. You can say, strategy-wise, did they get that a little bit wrong? Maybe. I mean, he was obviously pushing hard on those tyres, understandably. And it did turn out in the end that those that made the earlier pit stops really paid the price for it. Those that could run the tyres for longer, which Lando Norris did as well, and of course Max Verstappen, that really helped them. Oh, it was a fascinating race, and as you say, the virtual safety car and then the safety car coming out, so, opportunities for people to make pit stops, and the fact that Lewis Hamilton was able to go from 12th on the grid to finish in 4th, that was absolutely tremendous. But then you look at his former teammate George Russell, he really struggled. He had a good qualifying, he was 3rd on the grid, dropped down the order, still scored a few points, but it wasn't a great day. And I also felt for Fernando Alonso, because he did a great job in qualifying, 5th on the grid, and then it all went wrong. He still hasn't scored any points this year.
He will. He will at some point. I can see it coming. Just give him a few more weeks. But look, as always on this podcast, we've got producer Jim, who's got a whole list of stuff for us to discuss. So over to you, Jim.
Right. First corner pass by Max was amazing, but was Oscar defending from George Russell or being too soft because of the pressure of being the championship leader? Discuss.
I don't think the pressure has got to Oscar. I just don't think he's that guy. I think it was literally just a last-minute braking situation from Max and he smashed it rather than mistakes from the other two. Do you think?
I think Oscar did not make a brilliant start. He made a good start because actually Max was slower than him off the line. And that was part of the surprise for me, was that Max was able to challenge because he wasn't very quick off the line. The good starter was George Russell behind Oscar. And I think he was a little bit feeling about that, seeing him in the mirror and thinking, right, I've got to defend from George. And he was obviously aware that Max hadn't got off the line quite so well. And I can quite understand that, you've got to focus on where the focus is right now. And I think he was defending from George to a certain extent. And then Max pulled off that brilliant move, but he was on the correct racing line, whereas Oscar was slightly inside. Yeah. You can never trust the grip to quite the same level on the inner line, whereas Max just had the bravery and did it perfectly. It was beautifully done. And to be fair to both of them, they gave each other the space that they needed. And that was it. Max Verstappen got in front and he was in control. And at one point, because he'd had that virtual safety car pit stop, he was in such a big lead. It was about 18 seconds in front, wasn't it? Incredible.
Yeah, it was a bit like, Red Bull are back with a bang. That's what it felt like. Or maybe Max back with a bang. We'll discuss Yuki later.
Yeah.
Jim.
Another good recovery drive from Norris from 4th to 2nd. How important is it for Lando to outscore Oscar for the first time since Japan? Discuss.
He needed it.
Yeah, he certainly did.
Yeah.
He certainly did. I mean, qualifying, he was very down. When he was talking to media after the qualifying, he was very disappointed, down in 4th place with Oscar on pole. But the result he got in the race itself was good. He got more points than Oscar, and he's still in the game. As you said, the points gap's not too big.
Well, I mean, here's a thing where it starts to get a little bit tricky. I mean, now you know that Max is going to be up there with the McLarens, and now there's 22 points between the top 3. Will they have to pick a number 1 driver to start dealing with this now, where, a quarter of the way through the season, I think McLaren need to start making a decision sometime soon to go up against Max. Otherwise, if you're trying to get both up there, does that work against them?
Well, it's a good question. And of course, we had a question when we were looking at the race with the fact that were McLaren going to allow Lando Norris to pass Oscar Piastri right on the restart after the final safety car, because he was on good tyres, Piastri wasn't. It was always likely Lando would go ahead. But because McLaren didn't actually make that, and I can understand that, they're feeling, well, they've got a race against each other. So they didn't actually tell Piastri, you've got to back off and let Lando come through. So Lando then had to fight his way. He did it. He did it very well. But it takes longer to do that, by which time Max had disappeared up the road. And so that was the way it was going to be. But I think Max probably would have stayed in front anyway, even if Lando had been allowed to pass Piastri immediately. I'm not sure they could have actually beaten him there.
Yeah, I think we can all universally agree it was a cracking drive from Max, and quite exciting because it was Red Bull's 400th Grand Prix, and a nice way to sign that off. Very nice.
Yeah.
Producer Jim.
Hamilton delights the Tifosi after a qualifying horror show to climb from 12th to 4th. Is this the moment Hamilton and Ferrari click? Discuss.
Ferrari's just an emotional roller coaster at the moment, isn't it? I mean, you go from, they're not quite clicking, to, he's won a sprint. This is it. They've found their place. No, it's not quite working. Oh, no, wait. They're doing really well. No. And then all of a sudden, again, this race. I'm just tired. They're making me tired.
Yeah. Actually, for once, Ferrari got strategy quite good. And they're not always great at strategy. But, they brought Leclerc in probably a bit too early. And he was quite frustrated after.
Yeah, that was a shame.
That early pit stop that he made didn't work for him. But starting Lewis on the hard tyres, and then it did work for them by using the virtual safety car as a period to change onto the tyres. And when he was on the mediums, he was actually really enjoying it, and he was overtaking loads of cars, and it went well. And the fact that he then came home in 4th place, his best result for Ferrari to date in Italy. I mean, it was a big deal, and you could see him enjoying himself, waving at the fans.
Slipped
afterwards.
off the car, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nearly did the splits.
They were so bitterly disappointed on Saturday after qualifying, not being in the top 10. So for the Italian fans at Imola, it was a big deal that he didn't get a podium, but he was nearly there.
So if we're talking about this Ferrari journey of up, down, up, down, up, down, they have the down at quali, up on the race. So that means when it comes to Monaco, that will be another down. If we're following that.
And we will talk about that more, but it is fascinating, and it's very hard to judge because, for example, Charles Leclerc and Lewis are both winners at Monaco.
Yeah.
Will the car work in qualifying around a slow lap? I'm not sure, because I think at certain parts of a lap it works, other parts not always. They can't always get the tyres right, but it's very hard to predict for Monaco.
Producer Jim.
The other side of the Ferrari garage had a frustrated Leclerc. Was his move on Alex Albon naughty or just wheel-to-wheel racing? Discuss.
Well, that was an interesting one, and actually I think it was racing, but he went too wide because Albon was already just slightly further ahead of him as they turned into the corner, and he actually had to hold back. But at that point, his tyres were not at their best. He did not have the grip that he was hoping for. Thankfully, Albon managed to nip through the gravel. Yeah. It did, in a way, work hard for Albon because he lost a place to Hamilton too before Leclerc gave it back to him.
Yeah.
Leclerc did give the place back, but by then Hamilton had nipped past him because Albon had gone through the gravel. So you can argue that actually what Charles Leclerc did, there might have been another penalty because Ferrari gained out of it with Lewis going past Albon.
Yes, that's quite cheeky, really.
Yeah.
It should have given the place back in front of both Ferraris,
in a
technically.
way, yeah. If he'd done it immediately, then of course it would have been all right. But that didn't happen. So, and it helped Lewis. There's no doubt about it. It was part of the way he got to fourth. So Charles Leclerc, I don't think it was a nasty thing he did. It's just that he just didn't have the grip that he thought he would have.
Producer Jim.
F1 has a new tyre whisperer. The rookie that keeps on giving, Isack Hadjar. What a terrific performance. Without the safety car, could he have been top 6? Discuss.
Potentially. Again, I've said this a few times. I feel like Isack just has universal love from every fan of every team, of every driver, also loves Isack Hadjar because of that moment from that opening race, his problem with the formation lap, and then Lewis Hamilton's dad coming in and giving him a hug, and everyone's gone, oh, we love you. And I feel like he's just taken all of that emotion on board and he's now just becoming something really exciting.
He's doing a great job. He is doing a fantastic job. I think top 6, 7th maybe. I think he was in a very good job in 7th at one stage in that race. They did stop him again, and they rather regretted it when they stopped him for the second time under safety car. I'm not sure. He did go onto tyres, but he was a bit unlucky where he came back out, and he couldn't really make the progress. But you're right. I think he's done a really good job, and the way that he's out qualifying Liam Lawson, of course, who was at Red Bull and is now back with the Racing Bulls team. He's very impressive. He's not dropped out in Q1 at any of the events so far this year. So I am impressed with what he's doing. Yeah,
exciting to see how he gets on next week at Monaco because we know that he's very good on that track.
Yeah, absolutely.
F2 days, Jim.
Adrian Newey has apparently been having some lunchtime meetings with the 2025 Aston design team. They then both qualify in the top 10. Have Aston Martin turned the corner? Discuss.
It's exciting, isn't it? Because I do think Aston Martin, as of next season, will be a team to watch purely because Adrian Newey is at the helm and he can see air. He will figure out your aerodynamics just by looking at your face. Like, that's how wonderful he is.
He is very clever. I mean, he is brilliant. And I do think that we've got to this stage in the championship where, yes, some of the aspects he would have brought in, I think, will be relevant. So the fact that they were so much better in qualifying, yes, they did play with tyres a little bit, and that was an experiment which didn't actually work out for them in the race quite so much because they had used them a bit in qualifying. But I do think the modifications on the cars were helping them hugely, and I do think that Adrian's probably a bit of a part of that. So I think there could be a big influence going forwards.
Points are coming.
Yeah, indeed.
Points are coming.
Well, at some point.
Not give him a minute.
Fernando, he's still frustrated, but there you go.
Oh, social media roundup, big dramas. Lewis Hamilton has unfollowed everyone, including his own dog. Now, I don't know what Roscoe has done. We know he's happy. We know he's healthy. He's a very good boy. But for some reason, Lewis has unfollowed every single person on social media, and I don't know why.
Bizarre.
Yeah. He's also started posting thirst traps again, just in case you were wondering. He's posting topless pictures. So welcome back, Lewis Hamilton on social media. We are loving that for you, but weird how he's unfollowed everyone. So, unlike Lewis, we would love for you to follow us. I see what we did there. That was so nice. So on social media, you'll find us Midweek F1. But also if you're listening to this, you can click follow wherever you're listening to your podcast. Or if you're watching on YouTube, then subscribe. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I'm very pleased to say we've been joined once again by former racer, journalist, and our presenter, Vicki Butler-Henderson.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me back. I feel deeply honoured. Thank you.
Deeply honoured.
Yes.
I love that. It's really nice having you back, though, because last time you were here, it was pre-season.
It was the first one, yes, exactly. So we didn't really know what was going to unfold.
Thank you so much for coming along. What are your thoughts on this race that we've been talking about already, Emilia-Romagna?
I think that the first corner incident with Max and Piastri was amazing. I actually stood up and applauded Max's efforts because it was on the knife edge, but he absolutely 100% committed to it. I would love to know what would happen if roles were reversed and Max was on the inside and would he have let Oscar go round the outside? I don't think so. So I think that Oscar is going to very much look at what went on so that doesn't happen again. This is only his 3rd season, so he's still learning. And I think that will be a massive point for him to do some homework with.
Absolutely agree. What about other ups and downs in that race? Anything that particularly grabbed you?
I enjoyed seeing Lewis, do quite well. I thought that was quite fun. Anything else? Oh, Lando, yes. Yes. We can come on to that.
Okay. Lando, yes.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Last time you were on, it was pre-season. So what you did was you gave us a rundown of all the runners and riders that were going to be taking part this season. So now that you're back, you've created, we're going with school report?
We are. So this is the sort of quarter term report. I have invested in a red pen.
Wow.
I have been doing a few reports. I thought, should we kick off sort of with the championship order teams?
You do what you have to do,
number
Mrs.
10 first.
Butler-Henderson.
Okay.
So Sauber then,
Right.
or to give them their official title. Oh gosh, it's too complicated for me. Kick Green?
Kick Sauber.
Kick Sauber. Yeah, that one.
State.
Yes, something like that. Nico Hulkenberg then, I am going to go with him. So at the weekend, so he started 17th and finished 12th, which I thought was a pretty good going for that race. He is 15th overall in terms of his personal department. He's got 6 points. I'm giving him a B for that, because I'm an eternal optimist with him, and he's kicking tyres a bit in his kick team this year, but he's still, I'm not quite sure what their whole motivation is, but he is still, doing it.
Absolutely. And it's a team that is going to become Audi next year. So there's a lot of thinking going forwards, perhaps not so much being done on the car this year.
Yeah.
Doing well, but room for improvement.
Yeah, well, I don't think he can personally improve anymore. I think he's sort of giving it his all.
Yeah.
So that's why I've given him a solid B.
Fair.
And then Gabriel Bortoletto, who started 14th, finished 18th at the weekend. He has got no points, but he is part of the Alonso management team. So I think he's got potential there. I've given him a C.
Okay.
Yeah.
He did a good job in qualifying this time. The race didn't work out so well, but the last couple of qualifyings, he's been showing a better pace, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree with that C, because I don't think he's having a bad season so far. It's pretty solid, just nice, straight down the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Alpine, then, they are 9th in the overall team scores. So we have got Franco Colapinto. He's got no points overall. I'm giving him an N, which in the old GCSE grading was a nearly pass.
Okay.
So not quite enough to get onto my ratings, but
He's only done the one race.
Exactly. He started 16th. He finished 16th. I can't really.
He went off in qualifying. So it wasn't a perfect restart for him, was it? Coming back into Formula One, having done a great job last year when he was standing in driving for Williams. But yeah. And what about his teammate Pierre Gasly? Because he's had a bit of an up and down time.
Yes. Well, I'm giving Pierre a B.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If that's all right with you.
Yeah.
He started 10th at the weekend, finished 13th. He has actually got 7 points on the big board for himself and obviously for Alpine. So I've given him a B because he doesn't complain, doesn't whinge. He gets stuck in.
No dramas.
No dramas, yeah, exactly. So he's solid for me.
Okay.
Did you have Jack Doohan on the list to talk about anyway?
I did have Jack Doohan on the list. I mean, poor Jack. So he got booted out in favour of Franco Colapinto. And then it must have been he must have had mixed emotions as he watched Colapinto's weekend unfold.
Wow.
You
Well,
tell us about mixed
tell
emotions.
me you were watching quali, because the shot that Formula One did on the telly was
Paint the picture
so
for us
sneaky.
for anyone who hasn't seen it.
That cut, I mean, he's crashed and then they started talking about it and doing a bit of commentary about it. And then they've done a slow-mo sort of replay of the crash. And then they've immediately cut to Jack Doohan live in the paddock in slow-mo with the smuggest look on his face. Like, the editing was just pure Netflix, honestly. He was just like the crash, and then you just see him kind of go.
But that's
walking
really
down the paddock,
unkind
you know?
that they did a slow-mo.
I know.
Because you never see a slow-mo
No.
ever on the live TV.
It was pure
I can
drama.
totally understand him responding like that because he'd made some mistakes as well. He knows what it's like being in Formula One, seeing the man who's taken over from his seat making a mistake. I can see a smile coming up, but as you say, he's doing the slow-mo. That's a bit.
It just needed a little brush off the shoulder moment. It would have been perfect.
Oh no, it's hard and it's cruel, isn't it?
Yeah. So who's next?
In 8th spot in the team standing, it's Racing Bull.
Ah, yes.
So Liam Lawson, so he started 15th, finished 14th at the weekend. Got no points on the board this year.
Yeah.
I'm giving
Dropped
him
by Red Bull.
Yeah, dropped by Red Bull. I'm giving him a C.
Right.
Which I think is.
I'm surprised by that. I
what
thought
would
it
you
would
have
have been
given
lower.
him? Well, I could do C-, but I think the poor boys had too much, to deal with it already. So I thought I'd spare him the minus and just give him the solids.
Okay.
The lucky thing for him is he might have been dumped down to a different team, but he's still in Formula One. He can still prove himself when he
Very
gets
true.
the chance.
Yeah.
Unlike Jack at the moment, who's got to sit back and watch.
Yeah, which must be the most frustrating position.
Yeah.
You have to go to every Grand Prix weekend,
Yeah.
and then you're not in the main seat. It's a tough one. So his sidekick in Racing Bull, Isack Hadjar.
Yeah.
So he started 9th, finished 9th. He has got good potential, as we have already discussed. He's got 7 points to his name this year. I've given him a C+.
Ah,
I would have
more
gone
than that.
higher.
Ah, that's interesting.
I don't
Why
like
so
to dish
low?
them out. I don't like to dish them out willy-nilly. I just like him to just keep
Okay.
proving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would
I
probably
was
go a little
expecting
higher.
a B.
But
That's fine.
let's see how it goes. All right. Good.
Okay.
7th then overall with the
Yeah.
teams, Aston Martin.
Okay.
Okay, so Fernando Alonso, he started 5th, finished 11th at the weekend. I mean, I'm still going to give him an A because he still he Producer G, do you disagree? I'm giving it for his tenacity, and it's kind of like, when you go to the Oscars and you get the Lifetime Award, it doesn't really mean anything. This is my gift to Alonso, the A grade for a Lifetime Awards. He's still in it, he's still plugging away, he's still turning up, he's still fit, super fit for race. It's just everything else is slightly less.
You're just giving him a high score for perfect attendance.
Lifetime Award.
He's out-qualified his teammate every time this year, hasn't he?
So that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And you gave
But he hasn't
Isack
got any
Hadjar a
points.
C.
He hasn't got any
I
points.
just don't understand this.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I might have to go back and put the red pen out
Yeah.
against myself.
Yeah.
Lance is the only one who's actually scored any points for
Well,
us.
I know
Lance.
this is
Wow.
the frustrating. So Lance, he started 8th, finished 15th. So they, both had a dreadful weekend in terms of results. But Lance Stroll has got 14 points throughout the year, and Alonso has got none. But I'm having to give Lance just the special award. So that is special because obviously he got the upgrades on the Friday. He can, as far as I'm concerned, he can upgrade himself to whatever grade he wants.
He can.
So,
Yeah.
so that's my special award.
Okay,
to
fair
him.
enough.
Okay.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay. He pays
Well,
for
we shall
his A
see.
stars. Yeah. Totally.
Alonso's had a bit of an unlucky time with reliability and bits and pieces this year so far, and I think he was a bit unlucky with strategy this weekend too. So
But an A?
yeah, I know. Well, he is still a great
An
talent.
A!
I do kind of understand it though. He is a brilliant talent. When everything comes together for him again, we will see some stunning performances. And even that 5th place he did in qualifying, I thought was impressive.
Yeah, exactly. I do. There is method behind my madness. I know.
We shall see.
Yeah.
An A.
Yeah.
An A?
Yes. I think it's probably there is an element of the Lifetime
History.
scenario
Yeah.
around him.
I'm wondering if there's a little secret Aston Martin contract going on over here. Because you all take the mick out of me for my Red Bull contract.
I would be blatant. Don't you worry about that. I would be. So 6th then in the team standings is Haas. So Esteban Ocon started 18th, did not finish, but he had car trouble.
He
Yes.
Now, at the beginning of the year, I did say that I wasn't a huge fan of him. It still remains that. He has got 14 points, though, which is more than Alonso.
Yes.
True.
But
However-
Alonso gets the A.
Yeah.
But he does, you see. But I am. Well, he's got the same amount of points as Stroll, as Lance Stroll, you see. So I'm giving him a D.
A D?
Yeah,
Oh, right.
I'm giving him a D.
Gosh. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
And what about his teammate? One of the
So he
rookies?
started 19th, finished 17th at the weekend. I'm giving him a C.
And Ollie Behrman
Okay.
gets
Yeah.
a C.
So he's got 6 points overall. He's been really smart because he's slightly flying under the radar.
Yes.
He is just getting his head down and not making massive mistakes or massive headlines for people to shine headlights on him. He's letting everyone else just take the glory or not.
Yeah.
And he's just steady Eddie.
He was so
agree.
frustrated by the timing of the red flag at the weekend, and even the team were checking into
yeah.
that in qualifying, because he crossed the line before the red flag actually came out, and it would have put him into Q2. But when the FIA went back through it and they spent some time looking at it, they felt no, the red light had actually been given just before he crossed the line. Therefore, he didn't get that lap time. So it was frustrating for him. But I do agree, he's doing a good job. Hasn't got it right every time, but I think there's some real talent there, and he can out qualify Ocon a few times as well. So we shall see. Yeah.
I think the C's about right. Yeah.
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 Good. I'm glad you're agreeing. Glad you're getting on board.
I don't know. It depends on what's next.
That's so exciting. Who knows? Williams then in 5th place. So Alex Albon started 7th, finished 5th. I'm giving him a B+.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
that's okay with you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. He's got 40 points in the bag. And he is really good. He's matured this year, I think. And he knows now it's serious, but he also has a lovely smile and brings a bit of fun to the paddock.
Yeah. I
So-
agree.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, nothing to add on that. Brilliant.
Super. Oh, good.
No notes.
Super. Carlos Sainz started 6th, finished 8th. I'm giving him a B.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 10 points overall. He is still finding his feet.
Yes.
You know,
But in qualifying, he's suddenly got better, because he was being blown away by Albon in the early part of the year.
Yeah.
But now he's actually been beating Albon for several races in a row, and he seems to be a bit unlucky in the races. He always seems to drop back a little bit, whereas Albon often moves up, gets some more points. But no, I think Carlos is much more feeling at home in that Williams than he was when he started the season.
It's now starting to feel like it was a good move for him to leave Ferrari and to go to Williams, doesn't it? Just
Yeah.
kind of feels right now.
The
Yeah.
team has definitely stepped. It's lovely to see
Yeah.
Williams up there again, isn't it? Because over the years we go back a long way in Formula One, where Williams were the star team, and for a while now they've been so far down at the bottom. It's lovely to see them scoring points regularly.
and it's lovely to see these boys working so well together
Yes.
as well. You know, that's quite unusual.
Yeah.
So long may that last.
Indeed,
Let's say.
we shall see.
More of this.
Okay.
4th spot is Ferrari. So Leclerc started 11th, finished 6th, and he's got 61 points overall, which is more than Hamilton.
Yeah.
I've given him a B.
Okay.
Okay.
And then Lewis Hamilton, I've got a B+ for him because he is coming into a new team. And
Okay.
so I'm just sort of giving him a bit of leeway to find his feet. But I love the fact that he just says, he's not a rookie. He doesn't need to wham bam
No, you're right.
all in one go. He's in it for the long run.
Yeah.
And he knows that. And we should all support him in that. And it's just slowly catchy monkey for him.
It's quite interesting, hearing him talking sometimes. As you say, he's no rookie. He can deal with sometimes the challenges that are going on until it gets right. But it was nice to see him happy at the weekend, finishing in 4th place.
Yeah.
And that was a boost. And that sprint win that you mentioned earlier
Yeah.
as well. But at the moment,
It's a roller coaster.
it is, because Charles Leclerc is the Ferrari man, and he's very quick in qualifying as well. So it's going to be an interesting mix between them.
Yeah, that one is... I'm quite fascinated by Ferrari at the minute. So.
Okay.
3rd spot, Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
So Yuki Tsunoda started 20th, finished 10th at the weekend. He's got 10 points to his name, and I've given him a C.
Okay.
Interesting.
I just think he's in a tough seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's a seat that he hoped he would get at the start of the year, but he didn't. And then he got it for Japan, for his home event. But it hasn't actually gone particularly well since then, has it?
but it hasn't gone particularly well for anybody
Yeah.
in that seat.
True.
That is...
This is why I thought you might have scored him a little bit higher, because he has been performing better than what Liam was when he was in that seat. And actually the tail end of last season, what Checo had kind of become by the end of the season, he's kind of up there, and yes, he is getting points and he's finding his feet and he's getting stronger and getting faster. So I thought you might have gone for a slightly higher score, knowing that it's a tricky seat to be in.
said Miss Red Bull.
Well, we shall see.
I'm just saying.
I do think that I think he could have qualified much closer to Max this weekend if he hadn't crashed. But it was that open first lap. He was so cross with himself, Yuki, afterwards, because he'd clipped the curb too hard, chucked the car off, and it was a big accident. Rolled over, landed upside down, flicked back up again. Thankfully, he was fine. But yeah, I think that was a blow, and I do feel for him now. Can he pick himself back up? Because it keeps blowing him at the moment. Even when I know he's got pace, he would have had pace there this weekend if he'd done a few good laps in qualifying, but just didn't come together.
But how incredible after that crash, just seeing him so casually climb out of the car and just be absolutely fine. Like, what a time to be alive with the safety within those cars.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I sometimes find, these Formula One cars are too big, too heavy, too massive, but when you see an accident like that and you see the driver able to just get out completely unhurt, you think, well, actually the technology, the rules of Formula One, a lot of the extra weight in those cars is about the safety of the drivers, and you can understand that.
Yeah, totally. Here. But he's got room for improvement. So don't forget, these are only marks for a quarter of the way through the season. Okay. Max Verstappen started second, won the race. He's got 124 points to his name, and I've given him an A star.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I absolutely agree. Yes, because
Well, you have to, really. You do have to.
I mean, he is an amazing driver. Love him or loathe him, you cannot fault what he does on the track.
Well, certainly, especially with that move he made this weekend. I mean, occasionally he'll make moves on track where actually you can fault him. But
Very well said.
But this weekend, he did it perfectly.
Yeah.
I think Red Bull has been the fastest car over the last few years, and everyone's going, oh, it's just because he's in the fastest car and that's why he's really good. But what he is doing this season is he's proving how good he actually is, because he's not in the fastest car. Or hasn't been for the start of the season. I mean, I don't know, with those latest upgrades, it seems pretty quick.
Yeah, they're definitely making progress.
The whole start of the season, he's proving himself to be a world champion, and I think he's great.
Surprise, surprise. Okay, let's move on to Mercedes.
Mercedes in second spot then. So we've got Kimi Antonelli, started 13th, then had a DNF.
Yeah.
Got 48 points on the board himself this year. I've given him a C+.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes, I know.
You weren't tempted by a B or
No,
a B
I
minus?
wasn't.
I thought he would have gone higher, yeah.
No, I'm still... He has done some amazing things, but quarter of the way through, just,
Okay.
just...
Yeah.
I mean, he's
I
already
think
got a
he-
pole position, though. Like, he's proving that he's...
In a sprint,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he is impressive. Well, we'll see. I think, I don't know what you guys thought, but that being a home event for him, I think
Pressure.
it was wonderful, but yes, an extra pressure on him this weekend, because he didn't quite have the qualifying pace I was expecting. He had some good race pace on the Friday when we were watching the free practice, but yeah, the qualifying didn't quite work out. But I think he probably just felt, oh my goodness, with so many fans and people around who were supporting him, that can distract you a little bit. When you're 18, when you're a bit older, one of the older drivers back in their home event, they just feel totally comfortable.
Yeah.
But when you're in your rookie season, it can be a bit tougher.
Didn't he bring his old schoolmates?
He took his old school children around his...
Amazing.
It's so lovely there.
So lovely.
Yeah.
Have you seen the documentary?
No.
The Seat on Netflix.
No, I haven't. No.
Very good. Very good. All about Kimi and how he got the seat at Mercedes is brilliant.
Okay.
Recommend.
Lovely. Thank you for that. Yeah. George Russell, his teammate, started third, went to seventh
Yes.
at the weekend. He's got 99 points. I've given him a B+.
Yeah.
So I think they're both working well with the car, with what they've got.
Yeah.
George, again, he's, I think, stepped up this year.
Yeah.
He's, he is the man in the team, but Kimi's doing well as a wingman.
Yeah.
So I think they're doing good.
Agree
with that. Yeah, and I think George will come up with the occasional sudden great result. I honestly think that will happen, but we'll have to wait and see if Mercedes can get the car in the right place at the right
It's
time.
consistency they need at the moment.
Yeah, it is.
And then numero uno's McLaren.
Yeah.
So Lando Norris, he's got 133 points. Oscar Piastri, 146. So Lando started fourth, finished second at the weekend. I am giving him a U.
What?
I am
U?
giving him an unclassified. Because
Sorry,
I
what that's
really
for.
think that he needs a lot of love and support, and he needs just to do you remember Mika Hakkinen had issues when he was racing, that he sort of needed to get his head into the I must win, I want to become a world champion, I need this mentality. He got some help from, sort of outside Formula One, just to help him focus and be mindful every time he was driving of what his main goal was. I think that Lando needs some extra support because he is clearly... he's got the talent to do it, but he just doesn't have the self-belief.
Yeah.
And until somebody can take him under their wing and really inject some positivity and some real, some self-belief, then I feel that it is not right for me to give him a marking.
Okay, well,
That's where I am on that. I'm being motherly.
Okay.
You are.
I think.
Is it like a you, but like see me after class for tea?
Or see somebody else.
Yeah.
And then, because I haven't got the time.
Yes. Talk about your problems to someone else, but I support you from afar.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then come back and then you'll be it. I just think he needs extra support just to turn that key and for him to go and get focused. So
Interesting. And what about Piastri?
Oh, Piastri. A+, not A star. So Max had the A star. Oscar's got the A+, which is slightly one down. So I'm giving Oscar an A+.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I thought he would have matched Max at the top.
Not quite yet. I think Oscar's got a few things to learn, like this first lap incident.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think, if the roles were reversed, I don't think Max would have let Oscar go around the outside of him.
No, I tend to agree with that.
So I think there's just a few nuances.
Okay.
And yet he is doing a fantastic job, isn't he?
Amazing.
And he is the championship leader.
Honestly, my heart sings when I watch him. He's just fantastic.
Yeah. Whether it's this season or next season or future ones, he's absolutely a world champion.
Yeah, and he's the only one at the minute who can sort of match Max's, or get as close to Max's sort of, I am here, I will be getting into, into winning positions.
Yeah, and he's just so chill.
Yeah,
he just
he
wins
is
the
so chill.
race.
I
He's like,
agree.
oh, there you go, that
Fantastic.
was nice.
Yeah, remarkable.
That was really good, guys. Well done.
that's very good.
So
Yeah,
awesome.
like him. Yeah.
It's like having him here.
That was really good, guys. Well done.
We've got to start thinking about the next race now, though. We've got to start talking about what on earth is going to happen next week in Monaco, this coming weekend in Monaco, because it is one of the more unpredictable races yet again. I mean, I always thought Imola was going to be pretty unpredictable, but I do feel that Monaco, with this new rule, so the new rules they've got is that they will have to make 2 pit stops for tyre changes during the race. Because
do we have a window in which they have to take them?
I thought that might happen, but no, they don't have a window. They can do it when it suits, when it works.
Wow.
So, of course, safety cars like we had at Imola, that's when you would love to have your pit stop, because it's about a 10-second saving. It's only at Imola. It might be slightly different at Monaco. If you get your pit stop under safety car or under virtual safety car and you gain places, there's no doubt. So will they just wait for ages and ages? Because the tyres don't really wear out much at Monaco. It's such a slow track. What are you guys thinking?
If you're a team boss, are you going to wait? Statistically, there will be some sort of safety car, whether it's virtual or real. So
Statistically, yeah, but also possibly no, because sometimes it's such a boring race.
Oh, Nicola.
I'm saying it. I've said it. It's sometimes year after year you sit down and you watch Monaco in front of the telly and you get excited for an exciting race and then nothing happens.
Well, that's not going to be the case this year because everyone's got to stop at least twice.
I hope it causes drama.
Yeah,
It does
will.
add drama, there's no doubt.
We need it.
Some people would feel, well, that's too much. Monaco's always been worth watching because it's always unpredictable. You never quite know what will happen. And yes, I do understand what you're
Last
saying. I
season
know,
was just, it was
because
the
they didn't
same.
have to make pit stops. They didn't have to make, because they did them early, because there was an early flag, wasn't there? And they made early
I
pit
always
stops.
have a nap during the Monaco Grand Prix, always.
I do
Always.
understand people saying that, but actually having watched it for many, many years and talked about it, there's always this fascinating, but what could happen, because mistakes come. You even get weather changes sometimes at Monaco. Funnily enough, the last few races, yes, last year was won by Charles Leclerc from pole position, but a couple of races before that wasn't won from pole, ironically.
It was a lovely win, but it was so boring. It was so boring.
Oh, it was lovely to see him win in his home event. That was great.
Yeah.
But how it's going to work this year is unpredictable.
But it's gambling, isn't it? In a way, do we sit and wait for the first safety car, or do we just lap 10 throw in a tyre and then hope to catch the next safety car for the second pit stop? What would you do, Ben?
I really don't know yet. I don't know. I mean, until we see the cars out there and trying to work out, what the tyre wear. They're using that soft tyre again that was used last weekend by Pirelli for the first time. So that will be used at Monaco. Whether that's going to be actually a race tyre there, because the strain on tyres is very low at Monaco. So that will be interesting to see what they do with that. Whether they will. But it's a good question. Or do you undercut by going for an earlier stop? Assuming there won't be a safety car. Undercut onto a really quick set of tyres, and by doing that you can sometimes get in front. I think a lot of it will actually the speed of the pit stops as well, and that's Ferrari are dominating that. Well, not dominating, but they have the edge in terms of the speed of the pit stops at the moment. They're sort of they're on top. Red Bull did a better job last time out, but you've got to have quick pit stops. If you don't have quick pit stops, you could lose several places at Monaco.
Well, also, producer Jim, rumours of rain. Yeah.
It could happen, which then throws in a whole other
exactly
bucket load of opportunities.
If it rains and you have to go onto wet tyres, does that count as one of your tyre changes?
Yes, I'm sure it would do. And if it rains, they may. I wonder what they'll do.
They might call it a wet race and everyone has to go wet.
Yes, whether they then change the regulations.
Oh, see the intrigue. You don't want to sleep on this one, Nicola. You need to be wide awake for this one.
Well, I'm potentially going to be there. I've got a meeting after this podcast to discuss whether I will be or not, but I might actually be there, which is quite exciting. So next week I'll let you know if I actually make it. But
brilliant.
Going to see it in person, which would be nice,
Lovely.
rather than falling asleep on the sofa. I'll fall asleep by the track. It'll be fine. Right. Looking ahead to Monaco, obviously we have our prediction championship of the world. It's all getting very exciting because no pressure, VBH.
I know, I think all the guests have scored.
Yeah.
I know, including myself.
Yes.
First time round.
You set the bar. So hold on a minute, let me give you the current scores. So as it stands, Team Guest is in the lead with 36 points because Richard Porter picked up 6 points for Max's win.
Lovely.
I'm in P2 with 30 points because I also got 6 points for Max's win. After last week, producer Jim and Ben on the same points of 24 after picking up a big fat 0 from last week.
Absolutely. Nothing. Yep. I had Piastri for the win.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. He got the pole, but he didn't get the win.
So, over to you.
Oh, gosh. I mean, this is tricky, isn't it? So I'm just going to lay it out there.
Okay.
I'm going for Oscar for a win, Max for a 2, Lando for 3.
Oh.
And a fastest lap, I'm going to have to cast my net wide. I'm going to go for a Ferrari. I still haven't decided which one. I don't know. I might have to go Leclerc.
Okay.
Because
Home race
of
makes
home.
sense.
Yeah.
Interesting. Actually, mine's quite similar to yours. I'm going to be completely wrong on this, I'm sure, but I'm going to go for Piastri as first, partly because he's done a good job there, and man who supports him, Mark Webber, is a twice winner at Monaco, and he's always able to give him just tiny little bits of advice that are so useful. I'm going to go for Verstappen second, although he's never been second at Monaco. He either wins it or things go wrong, so who knows. I'm going to go for Leclerc third because he is great at Monaco. Whether the Ferrari is going to be good enough to get the podium, I'm not sure. I think George Russell might shine. I'll give him fastest lap. He may well do even better than that. But yeah, I'm going to put George Russell in the mix there just by giving him the fastest lap.
Okay. I'm going to go P1 Max. Not because I've got a contract with Red Bull, but because...
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's because he's just great. He's just great. And you just know he's going to go in with confidence. He's feeling great in the car, all the interviews. He's feeling on it, isn't he? So he's just going to go in with his head high, just looking and feeling great. P2, Charles Leclerc. Just because it feels right, especially after last year. He's going to go in with confidence, feeling pretty good.
He's very impressive there.
P3, I'm going to go Oscar because I think he will outdrive Lando again. He'll just, do a solid, decent race. It might be close between him and Charles, but Oscar. And then fastest lap, I'm going to go Lewis. And I base that on nothing. It's just a stab in the dark. Yeah. Okay. Producer Jim.
I've got mine written down somewhere.
Okay.
You can hear that.
Take your time.
Yeah. find the writing.
Whenever you're ready, babe. We've been talking about this for the last 10 minutes.
One job.
Oh, yeah, me. Okay. I'm going to go Piastri. Again, Mark Webber influence. I agree. Twice a winner. I'm going to go Norris second because I think he's got his head screwed on. I think he's on the way back. I'm going to Max third because he's always there or thereabouts. I am also going Hamilton fastest lap because the car goes well in the race, but it doesn't qualify well.
Because car go fast.
The car is a good race car, not a qualifier.
I think, aren't we lucky that actually predicting at the moment, not just Monaco, but other races too, because it's actually really quite difficult to predict what the order's going to be, because McLaren are very strong, but they've got the threat from Red Bull, who've got stronger again. Ferrari, every now and then, like you said earlier, sometimes they just suddenly pop up.
Yeah, it's exciting. The season's been exciting.
It's a great season so far. I'm very happy.
Yeah. So
Very
now
happy
we're
with the lads.
We're a quarter of the way through. You've done your quarterly update, which means you're probably going to have to come back again and do another update.
Of course.
But I don't know if you remember this, but when you were on the first time, you actually came in and you gave a random fact about owls.
Yeah.
Which has now become a thing on this show.
Well,
and because you set the bar, so now you have to have another one, please.
Yeah. So I'm slightly disappointed that my fellow guests, have moved away from the animals.
Right.
So I need to bring it back to animals. So I said owls can't move their eyes because they move their head.
Yeah.
To see. So I'm bringing it back to cats. I've got some pictures to show you.
Oh, she's got props.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I've got ginger cats. All ginger cats have an M on their foreheads.
Why? They do.
You are so welcome.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, you have wasted a lot of printer ink on this.
See? Isn't that amazing?
So that doesn't happen on any other cat, just the ginger cat.
Just a ginger one, as far as I'm aware. I mean, I could be opening a whole new podcast. Who knows?
Wow.
But also, I have another story to tell, if I may share.
I hope so, because that was a little bit rubbish. When you compare it to your owls,
It was fun.
the owls set a bar.
I bought visual treats this
True,
time.
you did do that.
So I was filming one time for Fifth Gear, and we had Ronnie O'Sullivan along. So he wanted to buy a Mercedes. So we hired Castle Combe Racing Circuit and a Mercedes C63 AMG. So he came along, and I was, showing him some stuff, and the tyres were smoking. We were doing donuts and everything, and he absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And then I got him doing donuts as well, which he thoroughly loved. But he said to me, when you're qualifying for a race or when you're racing, do you ever feel like you're doing a fantastic lap when you're there? And I'm like, yeah, you absolutely do. You can tell if if the car's just absolutely on the edge and you're dancing through the corners and you know that you've got a quick lap together, usually when you're quite relaxed as well. And I said, how do you feel about that when you're playing snooker? He says, as soon as I hit the first ball, I know if I will go on and do a 147 and then he'll clear the board.
Really?
On the first ball.
Wow.
Yeah. Amazing.
Wow.
And he is 7-time snooker world champion.
That's a really interesting piece. Yeah, just that first touch. Yeah.
To then get a
Amazing.
147 like that,
Yeah.
that's a long game.
Exactly.
To know that right from the start is
He says
wild.
as soon as he pots that first ball, he knows he can clear the table.
Wow.
I know.
Oh, I
That
love
is
that.
incredible.
That was good. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you've upped your game.
okay.
Yeah,
That was
lovely.
nice.
I
Lovely
bring you
stuff.
2 stories.
Do you know what? B+. That's good.
Oh,
That's
thanks.
really nice.
Well, I'm afraid that's we're all wrapped up for this week. It's been great fun, but we will be looking forward, of course, and looking back next week at the race coming up, which is Monaco.
Yes.
And then they're racing again after that in Spain with some technical changes to the car. So we're going to have plenty to talk about.
Oh, dramas. Right. Make sure you subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If wherever you're listening, wherever you get your podcast, click follow. And then we're also on social media, on Instagram and stuff, Midweek F1. And we'll see you next time.